This year we have been marking the centennial of the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima in Portugal. Between mid-May and mid-October 1917, in the midst of World War I, Mary appeared 6 times to 3 poor shepherd children. This coming week, the centennial will culminate with the marking of her final appearance and the great event called the Dancing Sun. In July, our Catholic Communications pilgrimage paid a visit to Fatima. Today, in part 2 of our series of reports on that pilgrimage, our chief videographer, Bill Pecosha, joined Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky and Father Gary Daly, director of the Newman Center at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, as they led pilgrims to the spot in Fatima, Portugal, where those 3 shepherd children were witnesses to the miraculous apparitions of the Virgin Mary 100 years ago.
We are on pilgrimage. Join us as we visit the sacred sites and the beautiful vistas and landscapes of Portugal, Spain, and France. Our journey will take us through Lisbon and up the Iberian Peninsula to Fatima, where we will join in the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the apparitions. Traveling north, up the coast to Santiago de Compostela to experience the sights and the sounds surrounding the Feast of St. James. We make our way across the top of Spain to Burgos and Loyola as we make our final stop at Lourdes. Travel with Bishop Rosansky and participate in the many graceful events of this magnificent pilgrimage. After a 76-mile journey from Lisbon, we arrive in the beautiful city of Fatima, which is a small, quaint city with a population of around 10,000. Only about 1,000 feet above sea level, Fatima has beautiful landscapes with many olive trees and magnificent vistas. But its most notable and precious attribute is the shrine of Our Lady of Fatima. This evening, after settling into our hotel and enjoy dinner, we have the opportunity to walk just 2 blocks to the Fatima Shrine. At sunset, we enjoy the beauty of the grounds and the magnificent basilica with the colonnades stretching out like arms, reaching out to embrace us. We prepare this evening to pray the rosary with thousands of other people from around the world. We gather together at the Apparition Chapel, the actual spot where Our Lady appeared to the shepherd children. As our pilgrims gather in the square for this evening's festivities, they are struck by the fact that people of all ages and from countries throughout the world have gathered to pray together the rosary. There's a peace-filled atmosphere where total strangers are united with Jesus and Mary. To everyone's surprise, this evening we find our very own Bishop Rosansky as the principal celebrant for the Rosary and Eucharistic procession. Our pilgrims are elated and filled with pride as they mention to others that it is their bishop who is leading the prayer tonight. Let us briefly take part in the procession. The beautiful music. And the vast crowd of people. What does it mean for you to be at this holy site today as we stand here?
Well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because last evening I was able to vest with the priests, the bishops, and other deacons, and you could just feel the holiness, the presence of all these people, and the presence of the Blessed Mother here. It's an experience you can't even explain. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I said that last night when I left here. So I could come back every year if I could.
On day 4 of our pilgrimage, we begin with Mass at the Angel of Peace Chapel in the Shrine of Our Lady of Fatima. The central meaning of the message of Fatima is really no different from what the Church has always taught. It's the message that prayer is the path for the salvation of souls, and it summons us to penance and conversion. Following the Mass, we begin our tour of the Shrine of the Apparition. It is here where popes have prayed. And in fact, Pope St. John Paul II, after having recovered from the assassination attempt on his life on May 13th, 1981, the feast of Our Lady of Fatima, he returned here to this very spot to place the bullet that entered his body into the crown of Our Lady, where it remains as a reminder to the whole world of the evils that exist, but how our Mother protects her own. For John Paul II credited Our Lady that day for saving his life. Right next to the Chapel of the Apparition is a tree, a large tree that has existed for over 100 years and was there when Our Lady appeared. We then toured the Basilica of Our Lady of the Rosary. The basilica consists of a tall, centralized bell tower and nave, approximately 213 feet in height and decorated by a crown of bronze weighing 15,000 pounds, surmounted by an illuminated cross. The carillon consists of 62 bells, and the statue of the Immaculate Heart of Mary in the niche of the spire is 15.5 feet tall and weighs 14 tons. Many of the events of the Marian apparitions at Fatima are depicted in the stained glass windows in the basilica, while 15 altars within the church are dedicated to the 15 mysteries of the Rosary. Inside the basilica are the remains and tombs of the two shepherd children, Saint Francisco and his sister Saint Jacinta, canonized in Fatima by Pope Francis on May 13th of this year, 2017. Also, their cousin Lucia, proclaimed a servant of God on February 13th of this year, and her process toward beatification is progressing.
We're now standing in the new church at Our Lady of Fatima Shrine. This church was built in 2007, and it seats 8,000 people. This church is used for services, but primarily in times of inclement weather when they can come in here and to celebrate Mass and prayer and the Rosary.
We board the bus and travel a short distance to the hamlet of Aljustrel, where we tour the childhood homes of Francisco and Jacinta Marto. It was here that Our Lady appeared 4 times, 3 times to Jacinta and once to her and Francisco. As we enter the home of the 2 shepherd children siblings, we see the bedrooms of the 2 shepherds. It was in the little room that Francisco died on April 4th, 1919, at the age of 10. Jacinta died a year later at the age of 9 in 1920. We then go to the home of Sister Lucia dos Santos, the last living seer of Fatima. She was born here, the last child in a family of 7, on March 22nd, 1907. It was in this house that the first interrogations of the shepherd children took place. Just down the path from Lucia's home is the well where the angel guardian of Portugal spoke to the children for the 2nd time. The angel said to them, "Pray, pray very much. The holy hearts of Jesus and Mary have designs of mercy on you. Offer prayers and sacrifices constantly to the Most High." Tonight, we gather again for the celebration of the procession of Our Lady of Fatima through the piazza here again, and singing joyful songs and celebrating the great gift that Our Lady has been to us. Our final night in Fatima is for many on the pilgrimage the moment that has been anticipated, participating in the Rosary and candlelight procession through the square of Fatima. The crowd is noticeably larger, as well as the number of priests from around the world. To hear the Rosary spoke in various languages, yet prayed by everyone, is truly the outward sign of the universality of our church. How awesome is it to be in this procession with so many people from all over the world processing with Our Lady. It's awesome. The procession is amazing as Our Lady is carried through the square.
There's not words to describe how beautiful it was tonight. When Mary walks by, everybody's sharing the lights with each other, everybody's talking to each other. And last night it was great because we met a couple from Belgium and we told them our bishop was on the altar. They thought that was so cool. We made friends right away. The people just get imbued with faith and love, and it's just wonderful to see.
Is there anything in particular that you think you'll take back home from the experience that you've had here today?
Thus far, actually something you said when you gave a homily when we were at the Church of the Miracle of the Eucharist. You were talking about the miracle of the Eucharist and how impressive that was. And while that was really impressive, that same miracle happens every day. And we can all access that miracle every day if we want to. And I never really thought of it that way, but that's, I think, something that's going to stay with me forever. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Join us next week as we look more closely at the story of Fatima and the message that Our Lady gives to the world as we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the apparitions at Fatima, Portugal.